Good morning, everybody. How are you? How was your week last week? Mine started with on the 13th, I got a positive COVID test, and I had been fine. For me, COVID has been has been essentially just like really bad allergies all the way up until God, what was that? Wednesday? It was Wednesday morning. I woke up with a slight fever and just kind of in the mood to sleep. So I put it out on my Twitter. In case you guys aren't following me on Twitter or Parler, follow me at this dead rabbit for random updates that I don't put out on BitChute or YouTube. You guys can hear I'm still kind of nasally. I've still got the weird allergy thing going on, but I'm definitely not laying in bed going, ugh, I need sleep because I got the man flu. It was okay. I got the original flavor where I like had no respiratory issues outside of like some allergy symptoms. That is to say, kind of like a stuffy head. Mild fever for a day, maybe two. So I took last week off and kind of put it out on social media that I felt crappy and I was just going to lay around and take care of myself and do, play Assassin's Creed Valhalla and just relax. While I was doing that, I'm not going to say everything burned down, but I'm definitely going to say that a lot of stuff kind of went south. And one of the things that I noticed went south, because I still try and keep up with stuff, I'm still reading the news. People are coming to realize that this is happening. Cenk Uygur, I can't remember how to pronounce his name. Donald Trump is in the middle of trying to steal this election. He very, very clearly lost. He's asking state legislators to not award electors of their states to the people who won. The person who won, rather. This is a political coup. This is what dictators do. This is happening now in America. Mr. Uyghur's Twitter from there forward basically reads as anti-Trump propaganda as you can get. These are 100% lies. Trump's lawyers had to admit in court there were observers in the room. No, there were observers present. They had to withdraw charges of voter fraud, with Giuliani admitting this is not a fraud case. Because this isn't about fraud. This isn't about fraud. However, there are fake ballots cast and dead people voting. Yes, we have proof of those things. It is not widespread. This claim about fraud is disputed. Here's the problem, though. A lot of what Donald Trump is claiming is not about fraud. It's about impropriety, I guess. It's about process violations. It's about error more than fraud. This reference to state legislatures taking action is the heart of the coup attempt. This is one of Trump's top lawyers talking about penises. Okay, whatever. Another lawyer is accusing massive right-wing governors of Georgia, Brian Kemp, of working in an international communist conspiracy with Bernie Sanders. Yeah, I saw that. That's kind of crazy. Now Michigan Speaker of the House is saying there might soon be a constitutional crisis. Whether it succeeds or not, there's blah, 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 blah. What is he on about? You know what he's on about? He's on about this. Trump's election lies are an attempted coup. Biden and other Democrats should say so. No, they shouldn't, Dean Obadala. They shouldn't say so. And the rhetoric has to be toned down in the mainstream media. It has to be. But you can see the shift here, and this is what's killing me. You can see the shift. People like me, Tim Pool, Styx, Hex, and Hammer, so on and so forth. They've been telling you guys, and a lot of you guys who watch this have been telling me back. When I mildly admit that Biden may have this election in the bag. A lot of you guys have been telling me back, hey, listen, it's not over. Trump still has challenges. Trump can still do X, Y, and Z. Yes, he can. He can still legally challenge this. It's not a coup when he's trying to legally challenge it. Now, there is a thing that I've been talking to a lot of you guys about, especially the people in the Facebook group and who follow the Facebook page. Like, there is an issue here. There is a precedent that is dangerous to be set by presidents gaining election by litigation. Is it legal? Yes, it is the legal process we go through to certify the state's votes and send the proper electors to the Electoral College and have them vote. Blah, blah, blah. Yes. Is it legal? Sure. Should we be looking for these irregularities, these errors, and trying to fix them? Yes, of course we should. Should have done it in 2016, and I'm pretty sure we did. Should be doing it now. Anytime that there's a question. In Georgia, they are recounting again because the margin of victory is something like less than 0.5%. It's small enough to trigger an automatic recount. Many states are looking at this. But if we find some large scale impropriety, it doesn't even have to be fraud. Despite Veritas's claims, despite the claims of other people who are calling this fraud, and there's many people who are taking, it's not just Trump filing lawsuits, right? There's citizens, there's other members of government all filing lawsuits. And if you take all of this into account, it's going to seem widespread. And fraud it's a good word, it's a good buzzword, but it's not accurate. And maybe the buzzword is there to keep people focused on, on talking crap about Trump. Maybe that's what that is. Or maybe Trump is just popping off at the mouth and fraud is the quickest way to get people to react. Maybe. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of irregularities with the elections and with the systems. Who is Dominion? Why is Dominion constantly brought up when we talk about this? Because their voting system shifted votes on record, shifted votes from Trump to Biden. How many? I don't know right offhand, and I didn't look it up. You guys are free to do so. But there is an admittance that this happened, and they're calling it human error. Why are they calling it human error? Framing. If a human did it, if it's human error, then it can't be widespread. Does that make sense? But if it was the system that did it, if it was the voting system that is in place in 33 states and God only knows how many counties, that could be bad. So we go through and we certify, and we have time to do that. Trump's election lies are an attempted coup. Biden and other Democrats should say so. President Trump is not trying to simply undermine President-elect Joe Biden's presidency, nor is he primarily trying to position himself for a 2024 run, as many have suggested. No, his number one goal is to overturn the results of the 2020 election. Yes, it is, but unfortunately, NBC News, there are no results yet. Despite the media claiming that it's already been called. It's over. It should happen. We called it for Joe Biden. It's not done yet. How do we know it's not done? Business Insider, how the Electoral College works. Timeline of 2020. November 3rd, 2020. States appoint their electors. Right? We vote. States appoint the electors. Go down here. December 8th, 2020. safe harbor deadline in the Electoral College. 6 days before the Electoral College is convened to vote is the safe harbor deadline. While states aren't legally required to certify the results by this date, if they do so, they can avoid Congress getting involved and resolving a potential dispute over which candidate won which particular state's Electoral College votes. On the day of the 2000 safe harbor deadline, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that Florida's varying recount policies between counties violated the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment by arbitrarily valuing some votes over others. The court still ruled 5-4 to uphold Florida's certification of the state's Electoral College votes for G.W. Bush. The majority opinion was in line with the wishes of the Florida legislature. December 14th, the electors vote. We are still in this part of the process. Through between November 3rd and the safe harbor deadline, December 8th, you can challenge the results of any election you want. You can challenge the results that come out. You can go through the legal processes set up to directly challenge any results that you don't like. Why aren't the Democrats challenging anything then? Nobody's challenging anything in a place that they agree that they won, right? That's the whole point. You're trying to win an election. So you're going to challenge the systems through the legal process that allow that would allow that win to happen. If you tie it up long enough, if you tie the election up long enough, you'll come to this point. Now, we have to be careful in allowing these things to happen. Can this happen in the future? Yes, this can continue to happen. And while there is a legal process in place to do so, I would caution, and I think any reasonable person would be upset if the entire Trump plan was to tie up the system until the Supreme Court was forced to make a decision in all of these states. I think he's challenging in Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Arizona, and Georgia. 5 states. If there was no proof, no evidence that there was anything to challenge, I'd be upset. I wouldn't back that Trump plan. I don't think any reasonable person would. But here we are. And just because I want to wrap this up by showing you guys what's actually happening behind the scenes, while the media is calling the election for President-elect Joe Biden, the media is dying to tell you that he's won. But which states have certified their vote total so far? 35 of 306 votes are certified for Joseph R. Biden Jr. 63 of 232 are certified for Donald Trump. 35 votes are certified right now for Biden. 63 for Trump. This is as of November 20th, so I'm sure this morning or sometime this week these votes will change. The media has called the election for Joe Biden despite the fact that the state certification process for those electors right now is not only not done, it has Donald Trump in the lead. Think about that. Meanwhile, they're trying to rile people up. They're trying to turn what could be an election by litigation for Trump into a coup. It's a coup. It's a destruction of our democratic process. No, it's the legal process by which we verify the integrity of our elections. And there is time allotted to do so. The media does not call the presidential elections. The media does not elect anyone. The people do. And the states certify the results. And then the Electoral College votes. And then we have a president-elect. Not before. Not November 4th when the media calls it for someone. And even though traditionally, once the media has called the election for someone, that the loser steps down, that's not what's happening here. And instead of coming out and explaining to the American people that there is a process here, and that while they have called the election, that does not certify the results, and those results could change due to legal challenges. This is what they think is going to happen. We instead have a Joe Biden who is pushing forward to start a transition that does not, it's not even legally binding right now. They're trying to ram Biden down your throats. I want to show you guys something. This is what happens. And we'll wrap this up here. This is what happens when what you get, when you completely listen to, you just completely listen to everything they're being told. Where is that article? There's an article of a man who's being arrested. And honestly, I think I had it in here. We're going to pull it up from the history. Yep. A man in Trump gear faces simple assault charges after he was seen breathing on a woman outside of a Trump golf club. Man in Trump gear was seen on video deliberately exhaling on two women outside of Trump's golf course and has been charged with simple assault. He was breathing in their general direction. This is the insanity we face. This man is going to go to jail for a little while and go through the entire legal process because he was breathing on someone. That's all I got for this morning, boys and girls. Read. I'm going to leave you with that thought. You should read. Read both sides. Read leftward media. Read rightward media. Listen to what everyone's saying. And the truth tends to be somewhere in the middle. It's going to be a crazy, crazy couple of weeks. Glad I'm getting out of a big city. Take care, everybody.